welcome once again to another interesting episode of Inside Out. And this week, believe me, this is a topic that I think every Nigerian, in fact, every human being should be concerned about, should be interested in, and something I think we should take very seriously. Today, we'll be discussing calories. A lot of us bandy that word, you lose calories, you gain, but a lot of time we really don't understand what that means. Today we'll be getting, let me say, an education, not just on our calories or calorie intakes or how calories affect us or even what the word calories means. That is what we'll be talking about today, and I think we have a panel that will do justice to this topic from experience. I'm going to start my introduction from my right. Dr. Matilda Carey. She's a primary health physician. You're welcome once again to the panel. Someone who is very, very passionate about this topic we'll be discussing today. He's a communication strategist, he's a presenter, he's into our media world as well. Please help me welcome Mr. Jenkins Alomuna. You're welcome. Please help me welcome Latoya C. Michael. You're welcome. Please help me welcome again Mrs. Celia Penny Moses Agbiku. You're welcome once again to Inside Out. And this profession, I've never seen it anywhere before. She's a diet designer. What does that mean?
It means putting your foods in the right perspective so that your eyes can see it and your body will not reject it.
That's a good impression. Tell me what you know about calories. You're not a doctor, you're like me, that's why I'm starting with you. Let's start with us. What do you know about calories?
I just know the calories are it's contained in the food we eat. It's like the proportion of what we eat. It boils down from the amount of carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals contained in one whole meal. I think that to me, it's the amount that I actually take in is the calories.
Do you check your calories?
No.
Do you know what kind of things you should eat?
No.
Tell me what you like eating.
Well, I'm not really a food person. I've been big all my life, but I know that I like yam. I like
correct.
Yam.
Is that yam or pounded yam now?
No, yam.
Yam. Tell me what breakfast is like.
Okay. I do breakfast late.
What do you mean late?
11 a.m., 12.
Okay, that's breakfast. Lunch is when?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Then dinner is when?
Dinner depends if I'm hungry.
If you are hungry, what time?
If I'm hungry, maybe 9, 10.
Have you ever bothered about what you're taking in? Do you think about it when you're eating? Should I be eating this or shouldn't I be eating this?
Yes, I have. And sometimes I try, and diet is boring sometimes.
Diet is boring.
Yeah.
When it comes to drinks, what do you do?
Water.
So you drink only water?
Yes, I enjoy water.
Oh, that's very good. Let's start with doctor. Let's can we have an idea? What does the word calorie mean?
Well, calorie is just a term used to describe the energy level of the foods that we eat. But when we talk about carbohydrate foods now, they contain higher amounts of energy, like our yam, our bread, and all that. So they have higher calories.
So she's not doing herself any good then?
No, she's not. Taking a lot of carbohydrate gives you excess of energy, and that energy, when it's not used up, is converted into fat. But calories just help you. It's just an idea of how much energy is in a food. Carbohydrates have the highest amount of energy content, and then the proteins have less amount of energy contained in them. And then, of course, water has 0 calories. So that's an easy way to just have an idea of what calories mean.
I'm going to go to the food before I come to you, Jenkins. Let me talk to you and see. Like I said, considering our environment and the kind of foods that we have available, is it possible for us to measure our calorie intake?
Well, it is possible. We have researchers in Nigeria, and they have researched into the foods, that's gari, how much calories you have in 100 grams of gari.
How do we even know what 100 grams of gari is?
Yes, okay, simple. A cup of gari is 100 grams.
Which cup?
Now, there are measures, okay? You have cups, 1 cup, half a cup, quarter cup, 1/3 cup, and 1/8 of a cup sold in the shops. Okay, yeah, they're there. To make it very easy, 16 level tablespoons, if you can just take and then just measure it, 16 would make 1 cup. So that would give you like 300 or 323.50 calories.
That's 16.
Yes.
And that's
So-
without the soup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would know just how much you've been eating. By the time you make that into a mold, you compare it to what you're used to eating. Okay,
That
so
means some of us in one meal eat the 2,000.
exactly, that's exactly what it means. Because if you're eating that eba with soup that is so very oily, and
So
1
her yam and
tablespoon,
palm oil now will be
exactly,
like nearly 2,000 once.
yes, depending on how much yam she's eating, 1 tablespoon of your groundnut oil or palm oil or any oil will give you between 120 and 130
1
calories.
tablespoon.
Yes.
Should there be a maximum calorie intake for a human being? And is it uniform across board? That means for every human being, or does it depend on weight and size? What determines calorie intake?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and it's still being debated and reviewed all around the world, but we call it the recommended daily allowance. And the calories that an average man is supposed to consume is an average of 2,000 calories in a day, and a woman about 1,800 calories in a
male
day.
different from
Male
female.
different from female, but of course everybody's need is unique depending on what you're trying to achieve as a human being, depending on what kind of ailments you're already living with or ailments you're trying to prevent. So your calorie intake would now be determined by all those things. But in general, that's just a general guide.
Is there a requirement for you to take more of something or less of something, or it doesn't matter as long as it adds up to 1/8 is fine? If that 1/8 comes from carbohydrates, then chop all the rice and the yam and do everything you want.
That's also still being analyzed and debated, because we've noticed that there are some kinds of foods that you eat that help you to that help your metabolism, meaning you're going to burn off those calories better and faster. So like now, when we're talking about the whole grain foods and the brown foods, your body uses these foods up better than the white alternatives. So you might end up taking 2,000, as a man, you take an exact of 2,000 calories, but all you're eating are the white over-processed foods. Your body is not going to be metabolizing those ingredients as good as a man who even maybe takes 2,500, but he's eating more of the brown and the healthier foods. He's going to look healthier, he's going to look trimmer, and he's not going to add as much weight as another person eating foods that are a little bit, worse than the good ones. So it's not about following, being precise about 2,000. I'm not going to go above 2,000.
Basically, calories are individualistic.
Yes,
You
it
have to
depends
assess
on your
the
body
person
type,
and
then the kinds of foods you're consuming as well.
Okay. I'm going to be talking to Mr. Jenkins alumna, but before I do that, we'll go on a break. Immediately we come back from the break, we're going to be talking to him as somebody who has tried. I know he used to like sugar like Misha, but nowadays he drinks water. Well, he's going to really, but we need to hear from him to know that it is possible. We're going to be talking calorites. Why did he become so concerned about his calorie intake and all of that? Let's take a break first of all. welcome back. We're still talking calories. And I was saying before we went on break that I'd like to talk to Mr. Jenkins alone. Now, first of all, I know that the idea of calorites was something that you were very bothered about. Came to you. Can you tell us a bit about why, what your experience has been, and how you discovered about calories and calorie intake, because you live on our side of the divide?
Based on some people said earlier, when growing up in Nigeria, you were told that beans was protein, this was that, and coming from where I come from, being big is not a bad thing. In fact, even as at when I weighed 167, 68 kg, I was still not the biggest person amongst my immediate extended family. I was still considered not too big. So it was easy to say that don't worry yourself. Let me say it in a local. Why you they worry? You're healthy. You're not just
ill.
Yes, you're not ill. But what happens is that you might not be ill, but there are a lot of illnesses hanging around, waiting for you to just cross that threshold. And there's some of the things that are not illnesses, but you wake up in the morning feeling a little bit tired. You slept for 8-9 hours. You wake up and your bones are paining. You have a headache, and you go to the hospital and spend a lot of money, and they run all sorts of tests, and they can say there's nothing fundamentally wrong with you. Actually, you're very healthy, but you're not healthy. And so in my own peculiar experience, I went somewhere, and the person said, you have this, you have that, you have that, you have that, you have a lot of things, borderline. They're not going to kill you now. You're not really sick, but you're just on the edge of all of them. And he says, okay, there's something called a BMI, a body mass index, and he shows it to me. And because I'm a little tall.
Sorry, let me just hold on that. Can we get an explanation for BMI?
Yeah, BMI just means, like he said, body mass index, and it's a measure that doctors use to tell if you're at a healthy weight, and they can use that and relate it with your risk.
What are the considerations for your BMI?
We consider your weight and your height.
As against your age.
Yes, it's against your age, and sometimes even against your sex.
Yes, against your gender.
Yes, it's just the weight of the person.
So everybody's BMI is different.
Is there
is a window of what your BMI should be.
Yes.
For a man, I think it's there's a grading.
There's a grading.
For a black man, for a white man, for a woman, it's supposed to be. But if you cross what your BMI should be, the higher you go away from your BMI, the more obese you're considered. Even sitting in this room, some 40% of us will be obese, considered if we looked at it. If you look at the BMI.
Are you serious?
And so what it means is that you're extending to some slight illnesses. You're getting what's it called, type 2 diabetes. You're just sitting on the borderline. And so this person suggested that I do something about it. And what I did was to go spend a lot of time on my computer doing my own personal research. And so I understood that your weight is actually equals to what you consume and do not use. If you're supposed to, if you consume, if you're a truck pusher, and you consume 4,000 calories, but you spend 4,200 because you have pushed your truck, you've carried cement, you've done that, you're going to lose weight because you have consumed more than you need. But if you, as like some of us, most of your work is mental, you sit down and you actually consume only 2,500 calories because you have not used 2,000 calories. Because your body actually needs just about 2,000 to survive. That 500 stays in your body, turns into fat, and you add weight. It's as simple as that. So the next thing then is, what do I do to lose weight? It's simple. If my body needs 2,000 calories a day, and I've stored this 1.5 billion calories over the last 10-15 years, the way to lose weight is to start ingesting about 800 to 1,000 calories a day, so that my body is burning 2,000 you should. So that what happens is that your body will now start using that 1,000 taken from your body to use that 1,000. But as someone said earlier, it's not just about what's not eating, it's now what do you eat. And that is why we came to Calorites. And Calorites really is just an advocacy group because that's interested in ensuring that people who sell foods in Nigeria, like what she's told us now, very important. A cup of gari is 300 to 350 calories. we need people to have such information. So you say, okay, I'm going to eat 5 calories for lunch. I'll eat half a cup of gari, which is about 170, 2 pieces of meat in my egusi soup, which is about 250. I don't know exact. That means I've taking 500. Now, again, it happens when in abroad they'll tell you, young people started in England, stopped eating a lot of food during the day so that they can drink beer in the night. You know, when we're talking about calories, a lot of people think that it's just the food. A bottle of beer is costly, probably about 300, 350 calories. So if you drink 4 bottles of beer in one night, you have done yourself 1,400 calories. And I found out that when I go abroad and I go into a store, I can actually decide.
I was just going to come to that.
I can actually decide the number of calories I'm going to ingest for that day. I can tell myself that for breakfast, I'm going to drink tea, and that is going to be tea with a sweetener. So it's going to be really maybe 30, 40 calories for a cup of tea. I can tell myself that for lunch, I'm going to eat a particular salad bought from a particular store, and it's going to be 270 calories.
Yes,
so that
they do state all of that.
They state that. And I'm going to say that for snacking in the evening, I can buy a particular low sweetened biscuit that will give me 200 calories. And that for dinner, I'm going to eat another 300. So I can measure easily that I've taking 1,000 calories today. And if it's a day I want to spoil myself, I can tell myself that I'm going to take a glass of wine, and a glass of wine is this amount of calories. But we find that local here, home here, you can't do that. You don't know what you're eating. You go to a store, you buy a packet of biscuit, it doesn't indicate what you're eating. It doesn't even tell you the amount of sugar, because products are made to suit different people, different purposes, and all that. So we need to force those people who make these foods locally to do the same thing that their counterparts abroad do, which is tell us what we are buying. And calories is about that is your right to know what you buy. We're not even extending to say, don't eat too much. The truth is, with all the education being provided here, it's now your choice to guard yourself and go down with it, or enjoy yourself.
Know what you're eating.
Know what you're eating. That is basically what Calorites is all about.
Thank you for that education. Let me come to you, Latoya. Haven't heard what you have heard. Do you ever check a label when you enter a shop?
Sometimes I do. But
what are you looking for when you check for it?
Expiry date.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what everybody said? They said expiry date and NAFDAC number.
That's it. But abroad, they create time, because a packet of biscuits can be 100 grams of that pack can give you 70 calories. It can give you 700 calories.
Yes.
Wow.
It depends on the brand. It depends on what has been made from it. It depends on what has been.
Same thing with butter, yes?
Yes, you know, you have, it's not just flour that you have in the biscuit. You have the butter, you have the salt, you have all kinds of things mixed up to make that particular biscuit. There's a particular biscuit that I eat, okay, that has whole grains and stuff. And I checked the pack, and it gave me the amount of calories there. Of course, it's not made here. Now, I went on the internet, I checked, okay, fine. So I can eat it. I know how much I'm taking when it's just 4. You know, and so, well, because I know, okay, because it's my job to know and pass the information on, I know that there's certain biscuits I will not even touch. Number one, white flour biscuits, I will not touch at all.
I didn't even know the one that is white flour.
White flour is a killer. I mean,
well, they write it there. Actually, that is written on the pack.
Or whole wheat flour.
It's either white flour, and then there's also this mistake that we make, because we see wheat, we just immediately go for it. There's wheat loaf, and there is whole wheat. There are 2 different kinds of bread.
Could you explain what that is?
Yes,
And
wheat
then
loaf.
bran.
Yes, bran. Bran is, you know, high fiber, high wheat fiber product.
Is that a healthy alternative?
It is healthy, but you need to drink a whole lot of water for that. You must drink a lot of water.
For your system.
Yes, to be able to flush it. Okay. Now we have wheat loaf. That wheat loaf means that it is made with white flour, but they've added some bran there, so it's not as healthy as whole wheat bread. They're very different. Whole wheat means it's the fiber, the flour itself, everything is made from wheat.
Okay,
whole wheat.
Is this brown bread?
That's the brown bread.
So brown
Yes.
bread
But the
is
different
healthier
types
Yes,
than
but you
white
can also
bread.
say brown bread. It can be written brown bread, and it's just colored bread.
Yes.
So
Can
it's
be
got to
chocolate
be
colored.
White
Can be
bread
chocolate,
that is colored
So
brown
it has
bread.
to be wheat,
Whole wheat. bread. It must be stated whole wheat. Wheat loaf is
So
not enough.
agege bread is out of it.
It's white.
Let's take a break. Yeah, welcome back. We're still talking calories.
It's really
Yeah.
what we say is not that you shouldn't eat whatever agege bread, but know what you're eating. Even if it is whole brown bread, it still has calories. If you sit down and say, okay, this is whole wheat bread, I'm going to eat 4 loaves. You're not doing yourself any good. It's better for you to eat 2 slices of agege bread than for you to finish 1 loaf
of whole wheat.
of
You're
whole
doing
wheat.
more
Calorie
calories.
wise,
Yes, because
health wise,
both-
maybe not.
Both are the same.
Both are the same ultimately.
Whether it's whole wheat or that, you can still go fat on whole wheat.
It's
You should
about
understand that.
It's just that you go
can
fat
still go
slower.
fat. But the fact is, with whole wheat bread, you have the proteins. It's not refined.
Healthier.
It's not refined flour. Okay, it's healthier because of the vitamins and minerals. Now, let me explain to you.
Is it
if
possible
you have
to lose weight without exercise by eating the right food?
yes, you can, but you sag. That means you have lost the fat, but the skin is still hanging, is loose, and you'll be looking very old and haggard, even though you've lost weight. So you do need the exercise to strengthen your muscle and pull back the skin that is flabby.
Actually, what research has shown is that the mistake that was made in the past is to assume that people of some particular weight category can exercise. You get a particular weight, exercise becomes
exercise is
hell.
hell,
It
yes.
becomes impossible.
Possible.
You can't tell someone who is
can't lift
200 kg to go and
jogging.
walk or jog. What happens is that you use the food aspect to lose to a particular level
Then
where you
you
can.
can
It's
start
like if you've been obese, overweight, or whatever they call it before, you understand that even walking from here to your car can be
can't
very
breathe.
difficult because your knees
more
are
exercise,
it's big exercise. So if you meet someone who is 180 kg, 200 kg, even 160, I've been 169, and you're telling the person, go and exercise. It's
You have lost a lot. Is that just through food?
yes, I've lost 45 kg just by watching what I eat. That is about 100 pounds. And so what you do is when you have lost your weight to, what I've been told is to target being 120, then I can start exercising safely. So I'm at 124.5 now. If I lose an additional 4.5, then I can exercise. But because a good doctor or the experts will tell you, don't start exercising at this time because your body is not adjusted yet for exercise. But the simple thing is to just tell you, go and exercise. When you're telling someone who is 200 kg to go and exercise, you're lying.
Walk.
He can barely move himself to where he wants to go to.
Another thing that exercise does that people don't really take into consideration, when you exercise, it makes you hungrier.
Yes.
A 30-minute exercise, you can burn about 300 calories. And you can get that 300 calories back if you do,
cup of tea.
let's say, 1.5 bottles of Coke. It's back in your body.
Yes, I
So
can.
you've not done
I can
Have good muscle tone, but
in previous
good
in
health.
previous attempts to lose weight, I've had I will not mention his name, a prominent Nigerian who is my friend, and we'll go and play squash for 45 minutes, and squash is rigorous, so
very tough.
possibly we've lost 500 calories. Then we go downstairs from the squash court and drink 3 bottles of beer each. We have replenished what we lost, and we're telling ourselves, after all, we just finished
Right.
exercising.
Yes.
We have replenished and we have added. And
I think that is so important because a lot of the time I'm so guilty of that. I feel after all I exercise today, let me just.
But exercise has its own benefit beyond losing weight. Cardiovascular
Yes.
advantages.
It reduces your risk for most of the chronic
Yes.
diseases.
Like she said, Latoya said that she has a history of her genes, so to speak, that there's big in her family. Do you think that's the reason why she's that way?
What she has inherited is not just the fat. She has inherited the pot. She has inherited the way her mother cooks, the amount of oil they have in their food, the kinds of foods that they eat.
Oh,
That is what
that's what you mean when you say the
the
pot.
pot.
So that genetic thing is not just about because
It's not just about the genes.
It's
Yes.
it's physical,
Yeah.
it's cultural, it's sociological, it's
Genetical.
environmental.
Yes.
All of it. So it's not about that. Okay, you're coming from a family where they are big. They are all big because maybe 50% of it is gene. The other 50% is what they consume. So you
Yes.
continue consuming the same thing. It's like let me just quickly say here.
Yam and palm oil.
There's something that is dangerous about the foods we eat. And the danger is not in the quantity alone, it's in the approach. We eat carbohydrates and add some protein. The safest thing to do, and which is what is the people who are slimmer in the Asians, the Middle Easterners, the Europeans do. You actually eat the protein and take the carbohydrate as the side.
Yes.
But here we are opposite.
So that means
someone-
eat meat and then put small rice.
Yes, and people tell me more expensive, and I say no. Let me explain why it's not. Some of the fish we sell, the ice fish,
Yeah,
Titus and all that, 200 naira Titus will fill you up if you cook it and eat.
eat that.
Why don't you eat that? But no, you prefer to eat 100 naira rice and 200 naira fish. You have not helped it because 100 naira rice is, I'm sure, maybe 500, 600 calories, just the rice alone.
That's far more than that. It's about 3 cups.
Yes.
So when we see all those people, for instance, like you go to a butcher and you see a man who has meat everywhere or
Yeah.
beef.
Beef is another.
That one has its own danger.
Another danger because it's full of fat as well. Cholesterol is really high in beef. Okay, the leaner meats are better, like your chicken without the skin, the turkey. Those are better proteins to eat. And then don't forget your vegetables as well. We have so many vegetables here in Nigeria. We have the ugu and all the other nice vegetables. So that can beef up your
Do
meal.
they have calories?
They do have calories, but not as much as your starchy
And they will fill you up.
And they will fill you up as well.
A
Plus
bowl
the
of
protein.
well-made ugu with pepper and salt and
And
some
very
sweet.
little
It's
You
carbohydrate.
can even make salads with ugu and so on. Yes, you can make salad with ugu. Don't you eat ukazi with what you call uba?
Yes.
You eat that with either stockfish or something, or garden
Very
egg.
healthy.
Okay, the African salad it's called. Okay, but let me just say this: that in even having lean meat, when you go to eat suya, when you want to buy suya, the malam sells the suya to you, and it gives you with vegetables, right? Okay, onions,
tomatoes.
Onions and tomatoes.
onions, tomatoes, sometimes ginger and stuff. Now, those things have reduced because of the cost, but they're always there. And the reason is that they're actually balancing both acid forming and alkaline forming foods for you to be able to maintain the proper pH of the body, because we operate with a particular pH which is about 7.4, and your blood functions at that 7.4. Now, every food falls into 2 categories, either acid forming or alkaline forming. What I mean by that is when you eat this food, it's digested, and then when it gets into your blood, it now becomes either acid or alkaline. It's not by the taste. You cannot know by the taste. So you have to, look at the chart and see the kind of foods that you're eating and what is what. Okay. For instance, now meat is one of the highest acid forming foods, and that's all of this is about this. Your blood is pH of 7.4. Cancer cannot exist in an alkaline body. Okay. By the time your body becomes very, very acidic, you can now develop cancer, arthritis, all of this and that. Now, why
So what
is that?
means is that you've been eating a lot of acidic food.
Acid forming foods. Okay, because the process is this: you're eating the food, it's making your blood more acidic, but the blood must constantly be at that particular pH, 7.35 to 7.4. Okay, so what it does is, as it's moving through the body, the blood begins to capture all the alkaline elements to balance itself. Potassium, sodium, calcium. Of course, these are things that your muscles, your skin, everything needs. Okay? And as it's taking the alkaline elements from your muscles and tissues and organs, is depositing, is making those tissues more and more acidic. And if you've ever seen salt poured on earthworm, it shrivels. And so the cells begin to shrivel. And if it becomes worse, it's, they can even begin to die. Okay? And that lays the foundation for disease. Now, is there any indication for this? Yes. When your body becomes too acidic, it gives you a warning sign. Thirst. You feel thirsty. And many times when we're feeling thirsty, we reach out for a soft drink. And then it goes to stage 2. This thing, I'm telling you, is too acidic. Do something, you start to have a headache. That's stage 2. And you say, okay, you reach for painkiller. You swallow it, and that itself is also acid forming. Yes. So it continues like that until you are having a fever, and you have to go to a hospital. They, of course, definitely, the doctor will give you drugs. Okay? And drugs are acid forming. So you go on and on until you get to a point where you can't even leave the bed, and so they start making you pepper soup, fresh fish pepper soup with vegetables, raw ingredients, fruits, oranges, all of those things, and then you recover. And what happens? You go back to agege bread and all of those things and all the soft drinks that, caused the problem in the first place.
Okay, let me take a break at this point. When I come back from the break, I want to ask just practically, we're going to be looking at our own foods before I take questions and comments from the audience. The common foods we eat as Nigerians. How do we measure? How do we know what we should eat? Jenkins, I'm going to ask you, how do you do it here? I mean, abroad is easy. You could read off the labels. What should we be looking out for? And what should we be demanding from companies as a whole? Let's take a break. Welcome back. We're still talking calories. Latoya, I want to ask you, you haven't listened to everything you've listened to. What do you think the real issues are?
Well, I think first of all, from what she said, inheriting the
Do you agree that you inherited the pot?
I'll say yes, I'm Igbo. And where I come from, Gari is one of the main dishes. We take Gari a lot. Yes, and then we have tapioca.
What's that?
Cassava.
That's cassava processed.
It's cassava.
Cassava.
Okay.
We have that. We have.
And you take all of those things?
Yeah, we do.
There's some things I call rule of thumb. One, the more natural it is, the safer. So if you can afford not to cook the food, don't cook it. The minute you start processing it, you're reducing, losing something. So if you can eat the salad, the local salad, the foreign one, it's better for you. The browner it is, the better.
Tell me what your daily, how because I'm looking at this environment, I'm thinking, how possible is it for the normal, everyday Nigerian to eat healthy?
I tell you some things I've not eaten in 4 months. I've not eaten eba in 4 months.
Seriously?
I've not eaten up to 3 cups of rice in 4 months, total.
So what do you eat?
I eat, okay, let me give you some things you could do. Eat just fish pepper soup. Eat okra soup. Just go somewhere, buy your normal food, send someone to buy you food, but don't eat there, but eat only the okra and fish.
They all laugh, they don't look at it as being possible.
You know the truth is, sometimes those things are hard.
Is that what you've been doing that has been working for you?
Certainly. What I do, actually, if you're trying to lose weight, then you need to eat more. I mean, 3 square meals is not enough for someone who wants to
not
eat
at
more.
all.
You have to
For anybody.
You need to eat
3
6.
square meals,
Smaller.
that's news to me.
No.
But smaller portions.
Smaller portions 6 times a day.
Yes.
6 times.
But
I'm hearing a lot of strange things.
It's
Also,
acid
diet
forming.
drinks don't really help.
No, they don't.
no, for weight loss, maybe. Not
This
for
talking
healthy
Not for
food.
health.
Not for
Not
health.
for health.
We must.
Yes.
There are two
Yeah.
things
Wait,
here.
you can lose weight and not be healthy.
Yes.
You can be slim and still have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Now, let me go to the issue of drinks.
Yes, it's very important
Yes.
because most of our drinks have a lot of sugar. It's laden with sugar. We've
You know, I
stored
I
our
said this before,
palate.
that I noticed that our drinks are the sweetest I know.
Yes, in the
Any-
world.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's sweeter, it's
You see,
larger,
it
it's
is
bigger.
big,
But you see, in each of these drinks that we're taking about, let me just say, an average of 200 calories. And we know some
Each
people,
bottle?
yes, each bottle of drink. Maybe about 160,
So
between
if I do
160 and
3,
200. So
I've
if you
done
do
600.
600
without-
Actually, some have
calories
more.
without food.
Some
even
have more.
especially the juices we are seeing now. And they're not telling us what exactly is in there. I can't trust what they're saying. Some of them who put the values of what's actually in the drink. It's
Food
just
value.
too sweet. If you compare a drink that you bought probably abroad or manufactured abroad with the same drink here, you taste both of them.
They're different.
Ours is sweeter,
Much.
but yet they're saying it contains about the same amount of sugars in it. So our drinks are very sweet. Another product are the soy products coming up. She talked about soya beans,
Oh,
which is very,
too much sugar.
very
Horrible.
good for us. But it's not sweet.
Yes, because
They have now added so much sugar into it so that
you know,
we can
because
buy it. So
you know,
it's marketable.
in soy milk, you cannot preserve soy milk. You can't. So in trying to preserve it, they have to add so much sugar, so it
Yeah.
becomes even more deadly. You are trying to gain health
You feel
from
it's
drinking
healthy,
soy milk,
but
but it's deadly
So it's a
at the
big
end of the
problem.
day.
Okay, let me ask you this, Jenkins, because that was what brought about all of this. What do you think the Nigerian society needs to live, just based on what your experience has been?
You know, we must interfere in the decay in several ways. We choose how we want to intervene, how we want to impact. And at several levels as individuals, we must come together and do things. And that is why we felt that, yes, we would join the marches to say that this is what is good for our society, this is the kind of governance we should have. We will do all that. But we also have to look at what we eat, because we have to be alive to even benefit from all those things, to match. And we think that we should, in those other countries where they write the food values on the back of the pack, government force them to do it. Nobody wants to tell you that this thing you're eating, if you eat too much of it, is not good for you. Actually, they want you to drink 50 bottles of the soda drink. I don't want to mention brands. Every brand. I'm a marketing person by profession. And I know that we want you to take a crate a day. That's why we do promos. Take a crate a day. When you finish that crate, you get that car or whatever. And that is not wrong on their own part, because they have to do their business. But it is your own business to protect yourself. And what we must do to protect ourselves is to insist that they tell us what we are consuming. And that is what Calorize is all about. We are saying, tell us what we are consuming. Tell us that, and tell us the truth.
Tell us the truth.
Tell us the
That's
truth.
another thing. How
Because if you don't tell us the truth, down the line, we are going to analyze those products. We will insist that government analyze
There are
properly.
monitoring agencies.
There are monitoring agencies that should be able to do this.
Monitor what exactly is being produced.
It's
for the
a
community.
simple thing. If it is my right as an individual to say that I want to consume 2,000 calories today, which is my daily allowance, I want to consume all of it as Fanta or as Coke or as Sprite. It's my business. It's my choice. If that is what I want to consume, then I should go ahead and consume it. But
you should be
I should
able- you
know
should know
what I'm
you're-
consuming.
No, I started to
They-
check
they don't.
Nigerian
They don't.
version
They
and
don't.
foreign
They
version
don't.
of even
But-
companies that are based abroad.
Abroad.
Abroad, they put they even tell you your calories,
Yeah.
Nutritional
the amount
value.
of everything. The same companies come here and put nothing.
Nothing.
So it's only when we begin to insist that these companies, great companies producing wonderful food, we start looking for healthier alternatives for us. But if we don't insist, they're comfortable as well, producing what they feel we like and we are enjoying for us. But if we start insisting, I'm not going to buy this product because there's no nutritional information, they're going to get the nutritional information.
And we must
there.
also force government agencies that are supposed to do this. We must force the government agencies who are supposed to do this. And when I say force, I don't mean going to disturb their work, but telling them and reminding them that it's part of your duty to tell these people to write the nutritional value. When we have reached that stage and they start writing, then we can now start interrogating whether they are telling the truth, the right ones. And it's a gradual process. And that is why I said that every Nigerian who cares about Nigeria, as Nigerians as people, as individuals,
Yes.
should either belong to Calorites or make a contribution, so that is something we can also solve easily. This one is very easy. It just takes 1 or 2 letters from a government agency that is in charge, NAFDAC for instance, saying you must put your food value on every pack from the 1st of January.
The same way as they've done with the what is
NAFDAC,
what everybody
NAFDAC,
says they
Yes,
look for.
yes,
here.
expiry date and all
Expiry
that.
date.
Before, nobody used to put expiry date. NAFDAC insisted they are putting. NAFDAC can also insist on nutritional value. First of this
Calorie
of this month, you must put everything that is involved in your food. Then when everybody has done that, then we'll go to the next stage and say, we'll pick up a few and test. And if it is wrong, the people should be prosecuted. Down the line, you can have a healthier country.
Okay, let me take comments from members of the audience and questions.
I want to ask, like for me, I do take these tin tomatoes with months. So I don't know if I'm really doing any good.
As much as possible, let's try and avoid canned foods. They have a lot of preservatives,
Preservatives.
put in them. So that's just what I'll say
So
about
that means
the
that
tin
tin tomatoes you have been taking now.
yes. If you're going to cook it, fine. I mean, I guess it gets broken down when you're using it to make your stews and everything. But even the fresh tomatoes and peppers better than the canned. But having it in that raw state, it's not even made to be consumed raw.
My question goes thus: in a situation whereby I stay with my grandma, like yesterday in the afternoon, she told me to make semo. I did. In the night, she made eba. Like this morning, she told me to cook rice. I was like, I don't want to eat rice. And she told me, you are living with me. You are not working yet. Anything I want to eat, that's what you will eat. So I kind of tell her that, Mama, this is not as in balance. She will tell me, your mom was not even born when we started. That was the thing she told me. She was like, your mom was not born when I started eating this thing, and I'm not dead yet. I gave birth to your mom, she gave birth to you, so you just have to follow me. And I'm not working. Not say, okay, I will make it for you. I will go out and make mine. So in a situation like that, what do I do?
I have a very simple answer for you, but it might not be popular. You might not like it. She made eba with soup. I will eat the soup and leave the eba.
Or do a very small portion of eba, very, very small, not the usual amount.
Yes, these days it's easier for a 60-year-old to make it to 90 or 100 than for a 30-year-old to make it to 50.
About weight loss, watching the weight. For someone that wants to go big, how can someone go big and stay healthy?
I think that recent research and facts show that unless what you're saying is look fresh, I don't think big can be healthy.
What do you think fundamentally you've been doing wrong?
Well, as it says, most times when I don't have anything to do, I enjoy staying at home, then eat.
Snack on
You are now coming to the cocoa of the land.
I also eat, and so with all the informations,
Do you eat your meat first or last?
they taught us to eat last.
It's not only you. Do you drink water while you are eating?
I do. I was doing that before, but right now I eat before I drink water, but not 30 minutes.
No, it doesn't have to. You can start slowly. It doesn't have to be
Maybe
30 minutes.
I'm going to try to do that.
It's
really
difficult. It's
impossible.
really difficult.
But I will
Like
try.
for
That's something I've
all
taken
the
away
things
from
I've been told to do, the ones I have not been able to do is not drink
water
when I
while
eat
eating.
and to avoid bread, even when it's killing me, because I don't know how somebody can live life without eating agege bread. It's like death. But you moderate it. Moderation.
Let me talk about sodas here, soft drinks, which a lot of us, I've admitted on this program 1 zillion times, are addicted to. What is the solution?
That's one of my problems,
You too?
sodas. I do the diet sodas now, but even they are not
I-
very healthy for you. And then even when you look, I was watching a medical program the other day. If you must do the sodas, I mean, we all want to enjoy something in life. If you must do them, try not to exceed 1 in a day.
Thank you very, very much to my guests. Thank you for making this topic, what it was, very educative and informative. A big appreciation to Voltic Water for our water and Accord Hair Concept for my hair and makeup. And to the wonderful audience, until next week when we come again talking about something else equally as interesting. Bye-bye and see you next week.